Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Workplace Wellness edition of the special holiday edition. So, Sumana, I can't believe it's the end of or the holiday season of season three. Can you believe
I
it?
I can't. This year it feels like a blur. I don't even know what happened. It's like I know we do these holiday sessions, and it's always kind of like, what happened?
Yeah, it's like, and in some years it's been like blissful years, other years it's been traumatic years, and some years it's been a little bit of both. And I feel like this year it's been a little bit of both. We've had some ups and we've had some downs, but I feel like this year's flown by a little bit faster than other years. I don't know. It just
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of people also have been experiencing a lot of stress. I did a poll on LinkedIn probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I asked people like, "Hey, 2019 was before COVID, and now it's been 5 years since COVID, and now it's 2024. Like, how are things going?" And people said 2024 was very stressful. So I think 2024 was just like a stressful year for a lot of people, but we're like at the end of it. So it's just time to kind of like learn the lessons from it and just move it to the new year.
well, and you know what? And I think that if we look back at like 2020 during the pandemic and 2021, people who had never experienced mental stress definitely experienced it during that time, and they learned a lot of skills. And what I've been hearing is, in 2024, the people who have been dealing with mental stress, whether it's because of financial, job, family, whatever the issue is, that they've actually leaned back on those skills that they learned during the pandemic, and may not have been as easy as they thought, but it's helped them better than it would have if they didn't have some of these skills. And some of the skills they mentioned came from our show,
Oh
actually.
yeah, that's so
Nice to hear.
nice.
Yeah. So it's nice to hear that at least some of the ideas that we have helped people out there, because I know you've shared things that helped you. I've shared things that helped me. We've had others that have shared their stories, and at the end of the day, it's what works best for you. I used to look at people. I had a neighbor literally across the street right here that I remember when I first moved into this house 25 or 30 years ago. He would be outside doing these stretches. It looked like he was doing yoga maybe. And I'm like, what a weirdo. What's this guy doing? And it's like, I wish I could pass the wisdom I have today to my 25-year-old self to say, that's not foolish. It's not stuff that you should be doing now because you're going to benefit from it later. And that's the stuff that I think is really nice when people share lessons learned, because at the end of the day we all have different experiences, and when people pass on something that works for them, it may not work for everybody, but if it worked for some, that's a win.
Yeah, and I always say the same thing, right? I think as you create your wellness strategies, I always say like you have the autonomy to make your own sort of blueprint of what works for you. Your doctor's always going to say you got to exercise, how many ever minutes per day based on your conditions. But you got to figure out like, okay, this is what my doctor recommended, but I can actually physically only do, I don't know, 3 days a week, and that's what works for me, and that's okay. I feel like as long as you create your own blueprint for your wellness, I think that is the most important thing. Just don't forget about it. Just be like, okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do a little bit of this, and then kind of just keep an eye on your high, medium, low levels of stress, because you and I just talked about this, offline, that we're going through this kind of like, oh, some days are really good, and then it's like a peak, and then on those peak days you almost need a different blueprint, and then on your kind of medium days you need something different. So it's like this really, I mean, the only way to say it is what I always say is like it's an active process. So you have to actively figure out like, what do I need? Do I need my green card? Do I need my yellow card? Or do I need my red SOS card to get me through? And each of us are going to have something totally different on that card.
I love that analogy. It's almost like, for those of you that love soccer, it's like that red, yellow, green penalty card or a stoplight. We do need, because there's not a one size fits all solution for everybody. Everybody has different experiences. People are different as in general. We live in different cultures, different backgrounds. So it is something that you have to really understand what works for you. And to your point, understand, when do I need to be proactive because I recognize some of the signs. When do I need to be reactive because guess what? It hit me like a brick and I'm already in it.
Mm.
And I think that's one of the great things. But I want to say hello to people who've joined us. Adrian, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining us. She was saying hello to everybody. And Lark, our friend. Lark, it's great to see you, my Social Saturday buddy. She did a great live. So I know we're going to talk about this, but the audio room's going to the live streaming format. She did a great one this past Saturday. So
Ooh.
and Christy, oh my device is moving here. Christy, it's great to see you as well. Always a great supporter of the room. And then Samira, I've been seeing you a lot lately, so it's great to see you as well. So, for all of you that are listening, let us know where you're watching from and tell us about what's one wellness tip that has worked for you this year. Has it been something that maybe it's been breathing, maybe it's been exercising, maybe it's just been some alone time, watching some great foolish TV, whatever it is, share in the comments because the reality is, again, what's worked for you may have helped out other people. But Sumana, so I'm curious, the holidays I know are approaching. It's difficult for some people. Other people are all in. Other people try to let the holidays help them get through a difficult time.
Mm-hmm.
And in Canada, I gotta say, I feel like you all always, for those who celebrate Christmas, I feel like you always have a white Christmas up there. Is that true?
You know what? It's not always true because last year it wasn't. Last year we just got a little bit of snow, and like right now it looks kind of brownish in like some parts of Alberta. So it is very different. It depends whether we're gonna get it or not. But I've definitely had like not that white Christmas. It could be a brown Christmas. It just depends on how much snow we get. But we did get a little bit earlier in the month, and then it's just like completely gone because it got warm. And now I'm not sure what it's gonna be like. I would love to see snow. I think that's always cute to have snow over Christmas, but not when I'm driving. I just don't, I want to be in the house when it's snowing outside.
Yeah, we've only had 2 white Christmases in the DC area that I remember.
Oh wow!
I know. So I mean, and for me, I love the snow. Like, don't get me wrong. People are idiots in the snow sometimes and don't know how to drive. And for those of you who don't know how to drive in the snow, please stay home and safe. We don't need you on the road. It's okay. But it is something that for me, it makes everything a little bit better, not brighter, a little bit nicer looking. I hate cold rain. It just chills me to the bone. So, and for the snow, I get a little exercise shoveling it. When the kids were young, we used to make snowmen, tunnels. So for me, there's a lot of different opportunities with snow. With rain, you don't really have any opportunities. It's just rain, and you can't do anything with the rain other than play in the stream that's coming down the street. Maybe build a dam. What? No, we used to build dams and see if we could build a dam strong enough to hold the water, which eventually would break. But that's pretty much it with rain. So.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of the rain. Vancouver, like I don't know, I like rainy days when you get to decide to sit in the house and like cuddle up and read a book or something. But like just being wet, I think I just don't like that feeling constantly. With snow, it's kind of like for some reason I like driving in the snow. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm really confident on the road, and I feel like it's not that difficult to drive. But there's a lot of bad drivers all over the world.
My wife is from Ohio, and she laughs at the people in the DC area because we don't get that much snow here. So she's like, why do people not know how to drive in snow? I go, because in Ohio, you get a lot more snow. So you've had a lot more practice.
Correct.
And your point, it's probably more enjoyable. I'll never forget when my brother was driving me back from high school and we had my 2 friends in the car and the car started sliding and he turned into the slide. And my friend's like, that's why we had an accident. Like, no, that's how you gain control back of the car. But logically, it doesn't make sense. You think, no,
I know.
way. But people who have experienced the snow should drive in the snow and enjoy it like yourself. Others that don't experience, just be careful and use some common sense and just be careful.
Slow down, and don't slam on your brakes. That's what I'll tell you. But it's really nice to see everybody. Kimberly is here. Roy is here from sunny Sydney. Wow, lucky you. And Nick is here. This is so nice. We were sort of asking everybody kind of like your wellness practice that is your anchor. Like what's your wellness practice that's going to anchor you throughout this very stressful Christmas season? Because I feel like that's something that we see all the time, and I've almost had conversations with so many of my friends who've said that their mindset towards Christmas is changing because it's becoming so difficult, not just at home, but also at work, because like the deliverables at work are changing and there's a lot more things that need to be done before the end of the year. So put that and mix that along with like, oh, I gotta go see my aunt here, and I gotta see my mom, and I gotta see and drive and see my, whatever, and cook and buy presents and everything else. So we need our wellness practices to anchor us during Christmas. So what is that for you? I don't know if you have any answers.
Well, I love what Kimberly here shared. She's calling from or watching from San Rafael, and the breathing, it's like box breathing, the inhaling 4 times, exhaling 6 times. That when people are having anxiety or a panic attack or just having a stressful moment, taking a moment to do these breathings, even if it's just like 10 breaths. I'll tell you, some people have a hard time to get in just to 10 breaths. It sounds like it's like, how would that be hard? When you're stressed out and having that moment, it is hard sometimes, but it helps. So I love that share. And I think one of the things that's important also is, everyone has those moments when we are, during the holidays. And I had someone talk to me the other day, and they're like, oh, well, it's very stressful for a lot of people in the holidays. I'm one of those people that I try to lean into the holidays because I grew up enjoying it. My father was all about the spirit. My father-in-law was all about the decor. I mean, between the two of them, I'm like, been taught how to enjoy the holidays. But here's the thing. Not everyone appreciates it. I recently, Nick, the gifted bipolar writer who is our publisher and has published a few books. I've been fortunate enough to write 2 chapters. The first one was about LinkedIn. It's what I know. It's what I'm passionate about. The second one was about a legacy to your family. It was actually called A Message to Your Family. But what was interesting was when I wrote this, emotions came out of me I didn't expect. But here's the fascinating thing is that I shared it with my family and a few friends, obviously, but my family, because it really was something I wrote to my nieces, to my daughter, my son, my foster son, and to the future generations, grandkids, or whatever it may be, but also my siblings. And I was kind of shocked that my siblings, some of them responded, some that we've been maybe having a hard time and butting heads. Because I wrote about the value of family and how my father passed on this legacy of value family. Yes, there's going to be difficult times. There's going to be hard times, and people are going to piss you off. But they're also the ones that are more likely to be more forgiving and there for you when you really need it. Our friends, too. You have some friends that are like family and are going to be there. But some friends aren't always going to be there. Family's the same way. But family, there's a level of obligation that people feel because you've spent so much time with them. You know them so well. And when you recognize that, hey, we can set boundaries with families. We can make sure that families, we don't need to have the drunk uncle being inappropriate during the holidays. We don't need the aunt who causes a scene every holiday. We are allowed, and this is where the new generations have really done a great job, is we're allowed to set boundaries. Saying, hey, you're welcome here, but this is what I expect. Fun, respect, and be polite. Not too many high level standards there, but that's what we expect. And I think those boundaries, when you set those and people are honest with each other, you can maintain relationships, whether it's with a friend that maybe you lost touch with or a family member that you need. And during the holidays, I think everyone's just a little bit kinder, a little bit more, thoughtful. And when we talk about workplace wellness, I think about the family too side at home. And I think we have an opportunity to reach out to those people that maybe we've felt like we haven't talked to because we had a burned bridge. Maybe this time of year is a chance for you to reach out and say, hey, you know what? I just want to talk and see if we can get past what happened, whatever that might have been. And those moments can really change someone's life. And I think that the holidays is a good moment to try.
No, I mean, I think it's always, when the world just starts to calm down, and that's the beauty of this holiday, is even if people are not celebrating it, my culture, we don't really celebrate it per se, but the world calms down. Everybody shuts down during those 2 or 3 days. And because there's so much stillness, I feel like it's such a good opportunity to embrace that stillness and lean into that, the difficult conversations and like even your inner turmoil and whatever you're feeling. It's a great time to do that because it's not often that we get that stillness all across the globe at the same time. So it's really a phenomenal opportunity to kind of like think about, and I talk about this a lot, like who are your high quality connections? Who are these people in your life versus your low quality, energy drainers? You don't want those folks. You want the folks that are going to give you that energy, that are the high quality people that you can have meaningful. We had a session about that, about what meaningful conversation looks like as a leader, but also as a human being. Like, what does that mean to you? And if I'm spending Christmas having conversations about topics that are really stressing me out, politics, for example, don't do it. Like maybe there should be kind of like this, some guidelines about what conversations are we not going to do that are triggering for certain individuals. Boundary. Yeah, we don't want to talk about certain things. Let's not do that. Let's not have these low quality conversations with people and with our holidays.
And I think that people, even though some people like say, oh, we should be able to say whatever is on our mind. Yes, but here's what we have to realize. If you're being inclusive, you got to be inclusive of the fact that people are going to receive information differently and react differently. So if you want everyone to inclusively have a good time, you're going to keep that in mind. So I want to say hello to Roy. Roy from Sydney. Roy Kowski is one of my favorite people on LinkedIn. He has been consistently just an amazingly supportive person who's always sharing his knowledge, always been somebody who is just, I wish we were closer because I think he'd be a great friend. And I feel like I would be like, Roy, let's go get a beer at the bar at the top of the street, because he'd be that person I'd love to have an evening chat with at the end of the day. And then, of course, here's Nick, the gifted bipolar writer. Always love seeing her. She's just, I gotta say, it feels weird saying I have a publisher. I still have a hard time thinking that I actually authored a chapter. I'm not saying authored a book, a chapter, but for someone who didn't know what he was doing, Nick as a publisher has been a godsend. And I don't say that because I'm new, I don't know anything. I'm saying that because the things that she did, I know would bring value to anybody, whether you're an experienced writer or a newbie. So kudos to her for just being amazing. And Lisa Fevik is here. It's great to see Lisa.
Hey.
Another person who's always sharing great insight about women's health, menopause, and if we say good rum and Coke, what would that sound like? No, that sounds like, Lisa, that sounds like a Cuba Libre for me, which Cuba Libre is just basically a rum and Coke, y'all. But yeah, I always thought that was so cool. Like, oh, I'm on a Cuba Libre, and when I realized it's just a rum and Coke, I'm like, well, that's a little disappointing. I thought it sounded like it was like a really special mixed drink. So, and look, here are one of our special friends, none other than Meryl Cass. Long-standing, long-holding supporter of the room. He's in Jersey. He's like the person who shares my weather, whether it's good or bad. We always tend to have similar weather issues. If it's a big storm, we know he checks in on me every once in a while, like, hey, you got a big storm coming your way. I'm like, thank you. And so, but he's also a great supporter of LinkedIn. He always shares all the rooms that we do and the events with his network. So it's an amazing person. And then Stephen Eng, I always call him the resident librarian, but he's so much more than that. I just say that because clearly literature and books are a passion of his, and you can tell when you hear him speak. So, and is it raining in New York right now? Oh, it did rain here earlier today. It stopped raining, so that just means that more rain's coming my way. Thank you so much, Stephen.
I do want to acknowledge who's not here on the live with us, and that's actually
yeah.
I know we were supposed to be the three of us doing this, but she had an emergency family thing last minute. So Ashley, if you're watching this replay, we do miss you, and I know we will probably do another sort of video when we start our new year continuation of season 3 again. But this is kind of like old school, Felipe and Sumana just doing old school videos on workplace wellness.
But and for those of you who are wondering, Ashley, this is Ashley here. She's the third person here. She has been such an amazing addition to this team, and she has brought so much more value than we could ever expect. She exceeded our expectations with just her insights, her energy, her positivity, and her just wonderful, fresh ideas. And she represents the younger generation too, as far as Gen Z, and really does an amazing job representing the generation. So I just want to give kudos to you, Ashley. I am so good. And if you have not checked Ashley's artwork, go check her out on Instagram. She is amazing, and her artwork is amazing, and her posts are actually so creatively amazing. I love her posts. So I just wanted to shout out to Ashley. So thank you for bringing that up, Sumana.
No, I mean, I do miss her, and I know that when we started doing the sessions. This has been almost, yeah, she's been with us for almost a year now, right? And I always say to Ashley, like, I remember Ashley was like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I can speak on audio. It's really scary. It's really intimidating to be able to speak. I don't know if I have enough to talk about. And then lo and behold, she surprises us, and then she's got tons to talk about. And, she challenges us, and she challenges our beliefs, and she can very well speak. So and I love that. It's so nice to have, again, that different perspective of not just a generational perspective, but also someone who was a bit timid and thought, well, I don't know if I could do this. And then not only do you do it, but you do it so well, and it makes us look like, hey, what are we doing?
So I want to say hello real quick to a few other people here. So we have Lisa agreed that Nick is an amazing publisher. Thank you. And we have who we have here? We have Alicia from New Jersey. Thank you for joining us. And then we have Meryl said something. The Christmas tree. Yes, I have my Christmas tree in the background. This is the only artificial tree we have. The other one is real, but this is the one that holds the stumps of every tree we've had for the last 20 some years, has it on here. So I'm not gonna show everybody because I've done that before. And then you have a Toronto buddy here, Steve Elliott. Yay. And then who else? Meryl said he loves the old school videos. and Lisa says that Ashley Flynn is a little firecracker, but I love her insights. And she's a wonderful firecracker. And I'm so glad that we had it because, again, you know, Sumana and I, we agree on a lot, and there's things that we have different views about, but it's always refreshing to hear somebody that has a different opinion. Like when someone's like, well, I don't see it that way, I get excited. I'm like, well, what do you see differently? Tell me, because I want to know how someone could see something differently than I do, because when I look at something from a different point of view and it's a whole different experience, it blows my mind. I'm like, oh, why didn't I see that? So I always welcome other people's point of views, and Ashley just got an amazing person. So, and Dr. VP Singh, thank you for joining us here as well.
I love that.
But we're just going to show you all. This really was just like a half-hour show today, so we already have about like 6 minutes left. That we just wanted just to recap, thank all of you all for the amazing support you've given to Sumana and I for the last 3 years now. Really, we've been doing this, but for this year especially. And I was looking at some of the highlights of the past shows, Sumana, and we've tackled loneliness. We've talked about employee wellness, recharging leadership. We've talked about neurodiversity. We've talked about DEIB. We've talked about what else here? I mean, so many amazing. When is enough? Communication styles. These are things that we a lot of times have done because you all have given us topics that you want us to cover. So please do not stop, because in 2025 there is going to be a change in the format, right, Sumana? A little bit of but you know what it is? All it's going to look like is like this. I'm going to talk like this, and just like audio, and that's all it's going to be is the same format. So
cool.
Yeah, and we'll be able to still see all your comments, and that's the part that I think is exciting. Is that before our audience, Sumana, they were down there. Unless they came up on stage, we wouldn't know what they were saying. But now to be able to see all these great comments, and Adrian asked if Copper will be joining us tonight.
Okay, so hold on for a second. So so if you just turn your camera off, it's just your face pops in. Is that what you did?
Yeah, and so that's how we ran the show. And what I did was I added let's see if it works here. I think no. So I did it a way where I was able to add this picture in with us like this. Yeah. So
cool.
I was able that was kind of there. And at some points we would just talk and have this up on the screen as we were talking. and it would just be like this. And when we brought guests up, we bring the guests up and we'd show their picture that way. And so I've done rooms where I've said people have turned on video and they've been welcome to. The one I did on yesterday, we said, please do not turn on your video. We want this to be audio
Yes.
only, and we invite people not to turn the video, and it worked out wonderfully.
Oh, I love that. No, so hold on. If I just turn off my camera, then it just like becomes like that.
Now you just gotta put your picture up there that you have normally. So that
Oh, got it. Oh no, that's so cool. No, this is nice because I mean, we typically share. I guess one of the advantages would be that if you wanted to share like a slide, or Felipe's 5 or Ashley's Llewellyn's 4 or any of the science, we could put like a graphic up for people to sort of see. But I also don't want to make it too. I want to kind of stick to the same audio format of it and not make it too visual, because then you just get distracted. I know lots of people who are only listening and they don't want the graphics. So I love that we can do it on certain occasions, but it's nice just to stick to the audio format and have people comment and for us to see those comments. I think that's actually pretty cool. I would love that.
I really value the comments, and you're right, because the video, it can be distracting. And for me, I'm a very visual person. So when there's a LinkedIn Live, I have a hard time listening to a LinkedIn Live. I feel obligated to watch it. So if I know the video, I feel more comfortable listening to it as we go around. But Sumana, any exciting things about 2025 while I go get copper real quick?
Yes, I will fill folks in. I think one of the things that I wanted to kind of just talk about, which you may have already seen on the on some of the updates I've shared, but originally we were running as 2 different corporations, Jetty Wellness and the Workplace Wellness Collective. And for the last year or so, I've been sort of thinking about like, what can I do to kind of bring these 2 entities together? Because my primary focus is on Jetty Wellness, which is what I spend most of my time doing. But then the Workplace Wellness Collective was, this hub that we had created to run audio shows and to do those big summits that we've done in the past. We did a Workplace Wellness Summit in 2022 and 2023. We were not able to do one in 2024 because our focus and direction sort of shifted. But we've been doing audio shows for 3 years, and then we've added the Workplace Leadership Hour with Michelle. So the goals and vision of the Workplace Wellness Collective changed. So I wanted to kind of merge those 2 ideas together as Copper makes his grand entrance to the video. Oh my God, I feel like he's gotten bigger.
Well, his face is in front of me, so he looks a lot bigger. But
that's so funny. Hi, Copper. That's so cute. So now the Workplace Wellness Collective, if you guys are looking for it, you will not find it. You will find it under Jetty Wellness, and there's a new page called the Collective. So we've moved everything over, we've co-branded everything. It makes things a lot easier for me. It makes things a lot easier for the community so that we're all integrated, and our mailing list will be one. So it's almost like we've joined houses, and it's going to make things a lot more special going forward. And I really was committed to getting this done by December. And I've had a lot of personal changes in my life over the last couple of months, which have been super stressful. But at one point I thought, I don't think I can do this change, but everything happened really fast, and was able to work with the developer and to sort of move everything over and recreate some of those new pages so that everything sits under the Jetty Wellness domain name. And now we're just rebranded as the Collective. So starting next year, you'll see a new logo, which would be called the Collective. And then, we will still keep the purple, but we'll have a little bit of blue and stuff going on, just so we're co-branded and we exist like that. But nothing else really changes for, the community. You will still get the same content. So if you're not signed up for the mailing list, the best way to do it would be to go to the Jetty Wellness site and just subscribe there. So if you were signed up for the Workplace Wellness Collective mailing list, and if you want to continue getting updates, you just have to now sign up for the Jetty Wellness subscription mailing list, so that we can keep that mailing list all in one place. But yeah, that's one big thing. And in terms of sort of some of the topics that I've been sort of thinking about, and Felipe, I've tagged you in some of them. Tokyo's got this new 4-day work week initiative for women to boost fertility. So I wanted to kind of get your perspective on what PRB's data and how we can sort of talk about that. And then I also want to talk about quiet wellness. That's something that I have been sort of thinking as, just this over the last couple of months, where there's so much stress and ongoing stress, and there's so many wellness ideas, and it's being pushed as in our faces so much. Like I even walk into the grocery store and I'll see like wellness in the grocery store being like, here's your wellness aisle, which is so interesting to see. It's pretty cool, but it's all vitamins and things that you can take. So with all of these like commercials and the push for wellness as an agenda for humans to be better, I'm kind of curious about what, quietening that idea, so quiet wellness and what that would look like to have more of a subtle approach to wellness in 2025, and how we can sort of adopt that blueprint for our own individual, strategies. So it's a couple of ideas that I'm kind of thinking about, but whenever I see a trend, I talk about it, I post it, and then of course we are welcome to new ideas as well. But those were some of the updates and things I want to talk about in 2025.
Well, I'm excited about that, and I think that you are the trend queen. You always pick out trends that tend to be sustainable trends that stick around. And the wellness. Well, I feel like in a way when you were speaking, I feel like people have welcomed wellness into the workplace. They understand that it should be part of the workplace. Now we just got to fine tune it, and again, fine tune it for your workplace, because again, the blueprint for my workplace may not work in your workplace. If we're looking at healthcare, manufacturing, banking, hospitality, nonprofit, each workplace is different, but the common threads are financial wellness, mental wellness, and physical wellness. Those never change. And I gotta say, the financial wellness part, there's so many, for those of you HR people out there, or for those of you that aren't in HR, go to your HR people and remind them that the brokers that manage your retirement fund, whether you have a 401k fund, a 403b, or whatever you have in Canada, 9 out of 10 times, those brokers offer free one-on-one services to your employees. A lot of people don't know about that, don't take advantage of that benefit, and the employees value that kind of knowledge and information. They're not going to tell you where to invest your money, but they're going to let you know some insights as to where you are and where you're placed and how you're heading for retirement and what it looks like for you and some things that you can do. Those are valuable conversations. So just like we take care of our mental wellness, our physical wellness, that financial wellness part, we got to take care of all three. And in the workplace, as leaders, remember, Sumana, Nash, and I always talk about the importance of highlighting the overall wellness, not just one area.
That is correct. And workplace wellness hour, we kind of just embody it, and we call it wellness in all of the dimensions. But when I look at all the data of all the content that we've done over the last 3 years, there's definitely certain areas that we are heavily focused on, and that is your mental health, financial wellness, DEI focused conversations, and definitely like organizational, what can organizations do? Like we always want to kind of bring in the employer into this as well, because it's not always about the employee. I've seen buckets of these ideas, and year after year, even though the conversations are different, the ideas are pretty much the same. But hopefully, one of the other things I do want to talk more about as well is manager leadership wellness. I think there's a lot more data. You had done a show with Michelle on unbossing and what that means. So there's this big, push towards managers who are supporting their teams, and what does their wellness look like, and what are their strategies. So I'm trying to craft, any blog that I put out on Jetty Wellness, I'm trying to craft specific ideas. Here's something that employees can do, here's something that managers can do, here's something that the workplace can do, because they're all different. And I'm sure you can agree, sitting from the HR perspective.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's what I'm excited about 2025. I think we have a lot of great topics, a lot of great things to share. I know Sumana, Ashley, and I are all going to be planning out which ones we want to do first. But again, if you have topics you want us to cover, let us know, because at the end of the day, we have so much that we have to make sure that we keep as a priority, because life is not going to stop throwing things at us. And whether it's work, home, love, whatever it is, we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves so we can handle what life throws at us. So, but for everyone out there, whether you're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, you don't celebrate anything, take this time to be a little bit kinder to yourself and to others. And remember that the next year is a new year. It's a fresh start. If you want to change maybe how you are in the workplace and you want to be a better leader, you want to be a better wellness advocate, take this opportunity with the new year to start off fresh and see if that helps. But
Yeah.
any last
I
wishes?
No, I mean, I just commented, Felipe, thank you so much. I mean, I know this, we show up for you folks, you know, we show up for the community. And I think our dedication and our commitment to Workplace Wellness Hour and Workplace Leadership Hour and anything else that happens in the new year, for sure, we are here for you. And I just wanted to just thank every one of you who's listening live and who might be watching this in the replay, and everyone who's come to all of our shows for 3 years. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me. It means a lot to Felipe, and it's just so cool to see this continuous, the continuation of something that started off as quiet quitting, and now we haven't stopped. And it's very rare to have a show that runs for so many years. And I'd love to see this run for a very long time.
Well, and thank you for being that person that has that initiative and the idea and the innovation to come up with something like that. Because the quiet quitting, when you said it to me, I'm like, what the hell is quiet quitting? Like, I had no idea what it was, but you had the force. And I gotta say, I value our friendship, our relationship, and I'm very happy that LinkedIn brought us together, Sumana and Ashley, as well, because I feel like we've been able to be there for each other and for others. And I hope that we continue doing some great work. I'm excited about 2025. There's a lot of exciting things, a lot of exciting guests that we want to have on the show. And we are definitely going to have a different format here, which I think will invite a lot more engagement. So I'm going to wish everyone a wonderful, happy holiday, whatever you celebrate out there. Make sure you follow us. We'll be back in January, right, Sumana?
Yes, we'll be back in January. We'll pick a date. I'm sure we'll see a notification. It won't be the first week of January. I think it'll be the second week. We'll start our schedule up again, and it'll be every other Monday night, same time, same channel, different format, but everything else is going to be the same. You're going to hear our voices, and we'll start. I think we should start 2025 off with a bang, and we'll hopefully do like a little video intro. Actually, I don't know if we do a video intro in January. I think we just do the audio and then we just end it.
We can add video right here. We can do
Oh,
video
perfect. Oh, perfect.
audio. Yeah. So,
We'll start. We'll do a prequel, and then we'll start. We'll transition into audio.
and look, January 13th is probably realistically when we'll be back, because January 6th Day and January 6th, for those who celebrate, is Three Kings Day, and so especially if you're European, that's much they actually celebrate more for Three Kings Day than they do actually on Christmas Day. But just a little fun fact there. All right, well, Sumana, I will talk to you, I'm sure, beforehand, but please take care of yourself. Have a wonderful rest of the day and week. And everyone out there, come back for Workplace Wellness 2025. We'll be here with Ashley, and we'll see you soon, all right?
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.